Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Business Broadcast. I'm Nicky Larkin. I am the founder and owner of Gorringe Accountants and managing director. Today, I am talking about a management accounts pack. What is it? What do you do with it? What should be in it? Who prepares it? As always, please do feel free to ask me questions as I go along. Just a bit of background of why am I talking about management accounts packs. So I'm a chartered management accountant. I've been preparing management accounts for too long. So well over 25 years, so a very long time. So I've seen lots and lots of different management packs. I've seen them from startups through to management packs for blue chip companies. So I've seen the whole array and spectrum of management packs that are out there. And today, what I want to help is the SMEs that either have got management packs which are just not functional, or if they're managers or owners of businesses where they don't have a management package at all and they've got no idea where to start. So hopefully by the end of today's session, you will have an idea and you'll have some confidence as to what you want to have from your management pack, and you know what to do to go ahead and get that working for you properly. As always, as I've said, do ask me questions as I go along. I do have a structure, but as always, I will answer your questions wherever I can. I'll make sure that they're all answered. So please do let me have them. So first of all, I'm just going to start off with the purpose. What is the point of having a management pack? Why would you, as the owner of a business or the manager of a business, why would you want to have one? Well, really, it should be a portrait, a snapshot, as it were, of what is happening in your business. So it should have content that will help you, as the person that's managing the business, help you to know what's going on so that you can manage the business. So that's the purpose. So if your current management pack isn't doing that, you need to change it. So that's the initial thing. So make sure that you've got that. And if it's, sometimes I see that people don't use their management packs because it's just got too much information in. They don't know what they're looking at. They don't understand their management pack. They don't. It comes out too late, so that it's so historical, it's relevant, and it just goes in the bottom drawer. What you want is a living, breathing document that you're always using, that's really relevant to your business and that is key to your business. It's going to help your business, because that's what you want. You want your business to do really, really well. So you want to utilize the tools in order to manage your business. So having a really, really good management accounts pack really helps with that. So, we've already had a question. So I think I've answered it slightly, but let's just check. So Belle's got a great question. Why is it important to have a management accounts pack? So as I say, it's so that you can manage the business. It's so that you can highlight, as a manager, as your business is growing, you can't see everything that's going on day to day, but you want to see key things of what is happening. So whether it's how much money you've got going, how much profit's happening, how many new clients you've got, how much stock do you have, all sorts of different bits of information. It could even be HR information, what's the level of sick leave that your team's having at the moment. Lots of different bits of information that will help you understand what's going on in your business, and can either celebrate how fabulous the business is doing, because that's always good. Let's not always look at the negative. But alternatively as well, if there is an issue, a challenge in your business, it can help you point out where it is and do something about it. Okay, Belle, I hope that answers your question. Do put up any more questions. Very happy to answer them. Okay, so you know what the purpose is for it, and now we're talking about the design. So assuming you don't have one at all, you either, because you've just grown your business to a certain level, but now you really need help to grow it. So you want to start looking at more detail about your business, and you need to have that management pack because you can't just have your fingers on everything all the time. Or it could be that you are at the very start of your business and you want to start your business as you go along. As you start, you want to manage it really, really well, and be able to see what's happening. So, how do you design one? First of all, consider the stakeholders for this. Who are the people that are going to be producing it? Who are going to be using it? Who is going to be impacted by it? So think about all the stakeholders. And so what's really important is that they all have a voice in this. So from the start of, who's producing it, they need to be able to advise you if it is actually feasible, the things that you're asking them to produce. It may that you have limitations in your systems at the moment, so you might not actually be able to get those particular information at your fingertips. So, so you might find that actually, yes, you could do it, but you need to get in a new system. Or yes, you can. Or you might find that one of your team says, yeah, of course I can get you to it, but which do you want me to do? Spend a week on producing this report for you, or get work out the door. So you've got to really get the stakeholders that are producing it on board, and you need to hear what they're saying, so that if there are any challenges to the production of the pack, you can address them straight away. What's also, of course, very important is the people that are going to be reviewing it. So that's usually you, it's the managers of the business, the management team. It may also be the investors if you've got external investors. It could be your bank if you've got a large loan from them that they want to see regular information. So those stakeholders, management, the investors. It could be the actual whole business if you are very open with your information. But what you want to know is, what do they want to see? What is the important bits of information that are really important to them? So understanding that should help you with the next section, as in what is the content. So you really need to listen. What is important, and when's it important to have it? What do they want to get from it, to make sure that that pack is really important. There's nothing worse than spending a huge, as personally as managed accountant talking about this, producing a beautiful pack, and then but then the person that's looking at it, or in fact not even looking at it, what is the point? So what you want to do is make sure, find out what are the things that are important to them, and make sure they're included. Okay, so there's a good point from Nigel came in. Not question, but just really good comment. Looking forward to this one, Nikki. Big fan of the key numbers. Yeah, because of course the pack is not just numbers. Just to be clear about this, there are going to be numbers. You're not going to get a management pack without numbers, but there are lots of other ways to display things as well. You might have graphs, might have charts, all sorts of different things that you could be in your pack to display to your team what is happening in the business. But yeah, really important to focus on the pressure points of the business to help development, because if you don't know about it, you can't improve it. Another question's just come in. I'll just do this question quickly before I go into the content section. So Liz says, how often would you expect to see a management accounts pack, i.e. month, quarter? Really good question, Liz. So for our clients, the most common pack is monthly. However, if you are a really fast moving business, you may find that the business is actually requiring to have like a small management pack daily or weekly. Some other businesses, some small businesses that are quite mature may only want to see, because and they're quite steady, so they're not in a growth state, they're just a steady state. They may only want to see them perhaps quarterly, perhaps for the quarterly partners meeting, for example. So you need to think, well, how often are they going to look at it? Because there's no point producing it really regularly if they're not going to look at it. Think about when, what state are they at the business, what stage of they are at the business, will determine. So normally we would have a conversation with the client about, how often do they have management meetings, for example, what sorts of information. There are key things. So some businesses, if you're a production business, a manufacturing business, there will be some key bits of information that you need to know perhaps daily. So you may have little parts perhaps daily, but you have a larger pack with lots more information in, perhaps on a slightly less frequent basis. I hope that helps. So, next section I'm going to go through is content. What should be in that management pack? So we've already said we need to talk to the stakeholders, make sure we're aware of what is available to have in there and what do the stakeholders want to have in there. So you'll see lots of people say, oh yes, I produce this management accounts pack. Well, you can get a very, very basic one, and then you can have ones that are almost like a whole book. The important thing is it going to be used. So if they're going to use that whole book of information and people are using it, then fabulous. Perhaps they are a listed company and they've got SEC filings or FTSE filings, whatever that they need to do, and they need to have really detailed information for their investors. For SMEs, it's not going to usually be a book, but it could be quite substantial. So the things in it, the absolute basics you're usually looking at from a financial perspective is your profit and loss or your income statement, which different people use different terminology. Usually a sign of their age, and your balance sheet. So profit and loss, you want to be able to see what are the sales in your business, what are your gross margins, what are your net profit, what your EBITDA, earnings before interest, tax, depreciation, amortization. So what they want to see that, and it might just be they want to see it for a period. You might want to see it. What I personally like to see is I like to see the movement. So I like to see it over a period of time and see how it's progressing. So I might see it like a whole, see the months as they go along. And then the balance sheet, that's a snapshot of your financial situation. So, it's your assets versus liabilities. Hopefully you've got more assets than liabilities. And checking what your current status is. And that is a snapshot of your financials. If you had to stop your business today, what would be left in the till? So those are the two absolute basics. A decent management pack would have far more information. There are things that you might have forecasts and budgets in there. Now, your budget, you normally set that at the beginning of the year. Your forecast, you gradually update as you go through, and you will often have a variance analysis. So you would have put together perhaps a business plan at the start of your year. From that, you have your budget. If you're not hitting your budget numbers, it creates a variance, either a positive or a negative variance. If it's positive, happy days. If it's, so if you've got more sales, for example, than you were predicting, but it's still important on the variance analysis, whether it is negative or positive, to understand why the variance analysis. When you put together your business plan originally, what has changed? Is it because your marketing was so much more successful than you thought? Is it that actually there's something else that's happened that is driving consumption of your product or service? What is happening? Is it compared to when you were put your plan together, perhaps there's been a real scarcity of staff, so you've had to hire more people and they're much more expensive than you were expecting, for example. But you need to really understand what is underneath those numbers. Just giving the numbers is not helpful. You need to have that variance analysis in words. What does that mean? Why is it? Um, what is driving those things? Uh, what I would also say is it's not just about those numbers as well. You want to be thinking about what does each department need to be showing to show how well they're doing or not. So the marketing department, they might be give you some information on, for example, the different marketing campaigns. So it might have shown you how much reach. You might have seen, if you've got a social media department, how much reach, how many subscribers have you got to your different channels? Are you, have you been really successful in a webinar and you've suddenly been getting, had 1,000 people attend a webinar that you were only expecting 100? And then, hopefully you'll end up with loads more inquiries after that. So, you looking at each department can have its own figures in there, and it won't be necessarily figures. It can be portrayed, as I said, in different ways. It might be a chart or some other indication. But typically, you'd look at in your business, depending on the size, the main departments that you've got, whether it's operations, finance, sales, production, HR. Each department will have some key indicators of how well they're doing, and the important things that they need to be doing well at to help the business achieve what they need to achieve. So, for example, the HR department, they might give you headcount numbers. How well are they doing on recruitment? How well are they doing at retaining staff? What levels of sick leave are there at the moment? All those sorts of things. It gives an idea, gives visibility to the management of what is actually happening, and then if they could then work out, is there any action required from that? I also really think is important. Now, management accountants, all of us senior accountants, we're very much focused in the future. It's not all about the historicals. So what we want to see is we want to see budgets, we want to see forecasts, we want to see pipelines. So if you have a really good management account, it won't just be talking about the historical. You will have a lot of emphasis on forecasts and the future. So that you can help look and plan for your business. That also, though, of course, does mean that if you're getting more and more detailed information, some of that information might not be produced by the finance department. So you might actually be having to involve other departments. So, for example, the sales team, you might be looking at their CRM system and pulling out information from their pipeline, looking at how much have they got in their pipeline, how much are actually firm orders, so that you can predict what your future revenues are going to be, what is your future your future resources that you're going to require in order to deliver those orders. Another thing that you will hopefully have in there is your key performance indicators, your key KPIs. I'm not going to talk too much about them today because for those regular watchers of this, I have done a whole half hour just on KPIs before. So if you'd like to know a little bit more about what KPIs to select, do go and have a look at our library of prior business forecasts on our YouTube account, and you will see a whole half hour on KPIs, how to select them and what to have. We've had some more questions come in, so let's go and have a look there. So Alicia asks, how often should the management accounts pack be updated? That's a really good question, because some people think, well, I've got a management accounts pack, surely that's fine. Well, it might be fine, but it is good to regularly review it. Is it still? So when we talk to our clients, every so often, it might be quarterly or yearly. We might say to, we're having monthly regular reviews of them, but perhaps on a quarterly or yearly basis, we might say, look, let's just have a look with a fresh pair of eyes. Is this management pack still doing what we set out that we wanted it to do? If it isn't, tweak it, change it. It might be rip it up and start all over again if it's not doing what you need it to do. Hopefully, it's a matter of a tweaking. It might be that, well, actually, we've got that really under control, this particular area. We've really fixed our production issues, so we don't need to focus quite so much on there, and we want to focus more upon HR, for example. So, you tweak it as to what is the most important time, because also you do have to remember, producing this sort of information, it is a cost for the business. It's time and resources for your team and your finance team to produce this. So yes, you do want to have this information, but it does come at cost. You've got to, it's best to put the time at the most important areas. So do have a look at that. Hopefully that answered your question, Alicia. If there's any more questions, please do let me know. I just, before I finish on the content section, I just wanted to go through another key thing which I see a lot, especially with early stage startups that have got some serious investment behind them, so they're really burning through the cash. So it's very important to have really good cash flow forecasts in there. Now, just be aware, because this might be a question that comes up of what systems can use. There are increasingly some better and better systems to help you with cash flow forecast. However, just bear in mind a lot of those systems. So, for example, I know QuickBooks does, and I think Xero is as well. There's like a whole cash module in there, which is great. But it is putting in it is extrapolating the information that's already in the system. So if you are a fast growth business and you haven't actually got your orders and everything on the system as yet, because it still might be in the pipeline stage, you actually might still need to be doing manual cash flows as well. So although it's absolutely, we all love the technology and do utilize the technology wherever it suits you, but do always, if you don't become fully reliant upon it, do some sense checking to it. Is it really telling you what is happening, or is it just extrapolating upon the historicals? You do really need to understand what is in the forecast and budget, etc., and make sure that is all input as well where you can. So the next area that now, this is an area that gets neglected. Lots of people, lots of businesses do have super duper shiny management accounts packs with lots of really good management information. Now, if you don't review or you don't use them, what is the point of having them? Now, you might think that's controversial. Why am I doing ourselves out of business for saying don't bother with your management accounts pack if you don't use them? I, of course, am an advocate for using them and reviewing them. But seriously, if your business is fine and you're not using them, why are you spending time on it? What would be much better is, even if it is just a 5-minute review, but having that time sitting down going through them. So, for example, yesterday I had three management accounts reviews with clients, business reviews, went through the management accounts packs, looked at what is happening in their business, listened to what is actually happening on the ground with their business as well, to make sure that gets reflected within the packs. But it gives a really good steer for them. So there might have been things that they, other people in their business are responsible for, so they weren't aware of. So so it's really important to review them regularly. And that's why for any of our clients that have management accounts, we insist that if you're having monthly management accounts, you need a monthly management accounts review, because we want to make sure, firstly, are you understanding it? What are then the next steps? Because you want to make sure there are serious that you do set the right actions of what to do with it, and hopefully you have make a plan, and that will then improve, so that next time we see the management accounts pack, the results of those actions should have hopefully improved it in some way. or at least make you aware of it so that you can start to be working on to improve it. So do make sure you review it. Do use it. If you're not using it or reviewing it, that's a clear sign usually that your management accounts pack isn't the right thing for you. So what you really do need to do is go back to the drawing board and look at what actual, fundamentals. What are the objectives of your business? What's your mission statement? What's your business plan? What's your vision? From that, you should be able to pull out what you actually want from your management information pack. Okay, so next steps. So your next steps are, if you've already got a management pack, fabulous. So your next step is, I want to make sure that you are booking in to have a review with the key people to review that pack, whether it's your management team, your accountant, whoever needs to be in that meeting. Make sure you book that in your diary. Really, really important. And then also book it regularly. So, we all know, of course, March already, it's going to be April and Easter before we know it. So what I would recommend you do is at the start of the year, book in those meetings for the whole of the year so that it doesn't keep being, oh, well, I've forgotten it this month. So then it becomes bi-monthly, or, oh, I've forgotten it again and now it's a quarterly. Put them in your diary for the whole year so you know that those meetings happen. Of course, there might be other things come up and you can move that meeting around, but get them in your diary so you know that you're going to spend that time working on your business, not in your business, but working on your business, and having that in your diary and spending time working on it. The next thing as well, another step, is if you're not happy with your management account pack, perhaps either you're not happy with your management account pack or you don't have a management accounts pack, speak to your accountant, or if you don't have an accountant that does management accounts, do give us a call. Speak to us about what do you want to have, how can your accountant help you put together a really good management accounts pack, bearing in mind that it's not just financial information in that pack. So do make sure that the other people involved that need to be producing the information, that they are all made aware of how important this is, so that they do give priority and they do give the information to the person that is collating the pack for you. Okay, there's another. Oh, just a comment. Oh, thank you very much, Rooney. Thank you very much. Great tips. Super. So, final just summary of the next steps. If you haven't got meetings booked in, book them in. If you don't have a management pack, start the design process. If you've got a management pack but it's not delivering what you want to do, get it reviewed. So book the meeting, design it if you don't have one, review it if you do have one. Okay, I hope that was helpful for everyone. As always, we will be doing this every week. Just be aware that we aren't holding these on bank holidays. Good Friday, we will be stuffing ourselves with hot cross buns instead. So please do let us know as well any feedbacks. What ones have you particularly liked of our business broadcast? What we're typically trying to do, just so you're aware of the structure, we're trying to make sure we are doing at least one tax focused broadcast a month. We're also doing a management accounts forecast focused one every month, also a succession planning one every month, and then we've got our whatever else we feel like doing on the other show. So next week is our succession planning one, because we're always the last week of the month we talk about succession planning. And next week we've got a fabulous guest. Many of you will have seen him before, Mike Ames from Flair Business Growth Group, and he will be talking to us about how, as business owners or managers of the business, you usually the people with the key client relationships. So it's about how to go to the how to help your team take over that client relationship. So he's got some great tips so that it's freeing you up. So to help your business with either scalability or to help you step away from the business. And then for all you Guy fans out there, the first Friday of April, Guy is back and he is, I believe he will correct me shortly, I'm sure, if I'm wrong. I think he's going to be talking about employment status. So things related to IR35, making sure that if you are engaging as a company, if you're engaging contractors, making sure you're getting that right. And similarly, if you are a contractor and you're having a difficult tax situation there, then Guy is your man. He is fabulous in that area. Really, really good. Yeah, employment status. Yeah, I did remember. Yay! So it is all about status. So employment status. So Guy will be with me on the first week. Correct. Guy, I'm going to frame that. Guy says I'm correct. Excellent. Good. That's it. A clock is always right twice, even a stuck. I mean, what's it? A broken clock's always right twice a day. So thank you very much for watching. Do please feedback anything else you'd like in the future, or any questions that you might have that I didn't cover. Please do feel free to contact me through LinkedIn. It was a delight. Lovely day out there. Have a lovely, lovely weekend, and cheerio.